What's going on, everyone? My name is Eric and you're watching the Get Me Out of Here vlog. Today I'm in the town of Hastings, Nebraska. And behind me, see this iconic building? Well, maybe it's not so iconic anymore, but you can see in the windows what looks to be a lot of colorful Kool-Aid ads. Well, the reason why is because this is the birthplace of Kool-Aid. That's right, in Nebraska of all places. I never knew this, but the state of Nebraska, Hastings, is where Kool-Aid was invented back in 1927. This iconic American drink got its start right here in this very building. So today, I want to share with you some of the information on the history of Kool-Aid and take you to the Hastings Museum where they have a Kool-Aid exhibit. So let's do this. And also, I brought something to cool down with. A little Kool-Aid burst action. Oh yeah. All right, man. Cheers.
Cheers.
Digging deep into Kool-Aid. If we can keep these things open. I haven't had a Kool-Aid burst since I was like a kid. Oh my God.
That one's pretty tight.
There we go. Ugh. It's like, how do kids open this up? Cheers to Edwin Perkins.
There we go.
The inventor of Kool-Aid. Right here.
Cheers.
Cheers. Oh yeah, that's good.
It's good. This one's much better.
What flavor is this?
Tropical punch.
Tropical punch. A closer look of the very building that Edwin Perkins created, Kool-Aid. Still stands here in downtown Hastings, Nebraska, and they've got some info as well here in the window. There's an old picture of this building. You can see on the window it says Perkins Products Company. And here is a picture of Edwin Perkins, the founder and inventor of Kool-Aid. He lived 1889 to 1961. And here on the window it says, "Welcome to the original home of Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid was originally invented, packaged, and shipped across the nation from this very location." Edwin Perkins, the inventor of Kool-Aid, was known as the kitchen chemist because he experimented with homemade concoctions in his mother's kitchen. As a young man, he established Perkins Products Company to market his wide range of original products for health, beauty, and home by mail order. Kool-Aid began as a liquid concentrate called Fruit Smack, which came in 6 flavors and was sold in 4-ounce glass bottles. That is not a lot of drink, just 4 ounces. It says Fruit Smack was costly to ship due to weight and breakage. In 1927, Edwin developed a method of removing the liquid so the powder could be packaged in envelopes under a new name called Kool-Aid. The rest is history. And in 1931, he moved the company to Chicago. In 1953, he sold the Kool-Aid brand to General Foods, and today it's owned by Kraft. And here you can see some vintage advertisements of Kool-Aid. Look at that font. I like that. Soft drink flavors. That is one of the original Kool-Aid ads. A lot of history right here on the main street of Hastings, Nebraska. Oh yeah! Here we are at the Hastings Museum in Hastings, Nebraska. And I guess they have a Kool-Aid display because, again, this is the town that invented Kool-Aid. Right here we've got the big guy himself, the famous Kool-Aid mascot, greeting us as we enter the museum. So give the big guy a high five. Good to see you. And yeah, I guess we'll head inside. In front of the Hastings Museum, oh yeah, the Kool-Aid Man. He's got his, I think those are his footprints. I don't know why he has like smiley faces on his feet.
Soles, yeah.
On the soles of his shoes, I guess. But right here they have a sign, the Kool-Aid Man was here. Famous, of course, being the mascot of Kool-Aid. I guess he debuted in 1975, which I didn't know. And in 2000, it says Kool-Aid Man had his footprints immortalized in concrete at the Chinese Theater in Hollywood. The concrete prints were donated to the city of Hastings by Kraft Heinz, and now they're right here on display. Look how big his feet are.
Yeah, he's got big
compared to mine. The Kool-Aid guy has big feet, but it's no wonder. I guess he's 6 feet tall. He has a 3.5-inch thick glass. He can carry 607.6 gallons of cherry Kool-Aid, and he weighs 11,000 pounds when he's full of Kool-Aid. So I guess if you were wondering what flavor the Kool-Aid man was, it says right here, he is cherry Kool-Aid. That's what flavor his blood is. And here it is in front of me in the basement of the museum. The reason I came here, the Kool-Aid Discover the Dream exhibit. This kid's dreaming about Kool-Aid. The Kool-Aid exhibit here in Hastings. Starting out in the D.M. Perkins General Merchandise Store. Got some birds chirping. I like that. Stepping foot in the old general store here in Hastings. Did you hear the cat? Meow. I love the sound effects they have here. It really takes you back. It brings you into the environment when Kool-Aid was invented. Oh, there's a cat actually on the windowsill right there. So I stand corrected. Our journey actually begins in the town of Henley, Nebraska, which is located way in the southwest corner of the state. You can see there in red. We're actually currently in Hastings. But why it starts in Henley is because the founder and inventor of Kool-Aid worked at his father's general store, the JP General Merchandise Store that was located in Henley, Nebraska. And here's a picture of what that store looked like. After running a general store in Henley for 5 years, Edwin's father built a new store in 1905. The sign on the front read the D.M. Perkins General Merchandise. The store carried all the essentials early Nebraskans needed to live on the Great Plains. From age 11, Edwin worked in his father's store after school. There he developed the entrepreneurial spirit that would drive his entire career. In 1920, Edwin Perkins moved his family and his business to Hastings, Nebraska. And the reason being is because Hastings had several railroads and 2 highways that went through town, so it was a better distribution point for selling goods across the state of Nebraska. What was Edwin Perkins' favorite flavor of Kool-Aid? The inventor of Kool-Aid. What do you think his favorite flavor was? I mean, it's cherry. Should I state the obvious? Let's go with cherry. Raspberry, which was discontinued in 2001. What? So they discontinued the favorite flavor of the inventor of Kool-Aid 20 years ago. That's a bummer. Edwin started selling a product called Fruit Smack in his owner-made catalog. It was a liquid concentrate to which consumers could add to water and sugar to make a soft drink. It became a best seller in the product line, but had limitations. The glass bottles would break or leak during shipping, and their weight made for high shipping costs. Oh wow, look at this. It's an early bottle of Fruit Smack. And look at that, raspberry flavor. That was his favorite flavor of Kool-Aid later on that he would create. But here's wow, this is amazing. There it is, Perkins Fruit Smack soft drink flavors. They made cherry, grape, lemon, orange, root beer, and raspberry. So it says here in 1926, Edwin attended the St. Louis Food Manufacturing Convention. When he returned home, he had a formula for creating a powdered drink mix that he would call Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid was sold experimentally throughout the Cushing Grocery Company in 1927 in 6 flavors: raspberry, cherry, strawberry, grape, orange, and lemon lime. The mix was sold in 1-ounce packages, and when added to water and sugar would make 2 quarts of a delicious soft drink. Edwin sold this mix for 10 cents a package. Kool-Aid was born. In January of 1931, Edwin and his wife Kitty packed up and headed for Chicago. Chicago offered more distribution routes and was a major city in food manufacturing and distribution at that time. Look at all these classic Kool-Aid ads on the walls here. Vintage Kool-Aid ads. This is before the big guy came along. Kool-Aid in the icebox by the pitcher full. All these different flavors. And even back in the day, they had the Kool-Aid Jello molds. They've got old advertisements on display throughout the years and the decades. Here's some Kool-Aid ads from the 60s, 1961. Oh, that's a cool one. 1964. Treat a host of ghosts with one package of Kool-Aid. I kind of want to go flip ahead to my childhood, the early 90s, but actually this is pretty cool one. 1986, that's the year I was born. It's Kool-Aid. We're big for a lot of little reasons. Look at that, he's got the Marx Brothers nose. Oh yeah, I think I remember that one. 1991, when you bring Kool-Aid coolers, you bring the excitement of Nintendo games, we bring the crowd. I do remember the Kool-Aid coolers. I think they still make those. Kool-Aid juice boxes. It's been a long time since I've had one. The guy in the middle has a reason to smile. A walk down memory lane, all these old Kool-Aid ads. Of course, now they sell the Kool-Aid jammers. It's a lot more recent. Kind of compete with Capri Sun. Some more vintage Kool-Aid advertisements. And look at that, they've got Kool-Aid mix for ice cream, as well as, again, the gelatin molds, Jello desserts. I didn't know that they made chewing gum at one point. It smells like Kool-Aid in this part of the museum. I'm not even kidding. I don't know if they pump sugar or I don't know what they would do. I don't know if they pump like sugary scents through the air conditioning down here, but it smells like fresh Kool-Aid walking along the displays here in the basement of the Hastings Museum. It's making me thirsty. Hey mister, you want to buy some Kool-Aid? You want some Kool-Aid?
Why, yes.
It's gonna be $100 for a glass.
Says 2 cents.
Hey, it's not cheap to live these days, all right? I mean,
There's nothing in here.
just take it all for myself. Drink the Kool-Aid. You think they probably don't have anything on the history of, was it like the Jonestown Massacre or whatever that was?
Yeah.
The laced Kool-Aid, that cult in Africa in the 70s. They probably don't have that here. All these toys throughout the years. Look at that, the classic big guy Kool-Aid pitcher from the 1960s into the 1970s when the big guy, oh yeah, was introduced. They got this frosty snowman, like a Kool-Aid slushy mixer, into the 1980s and 1990s and into the 2000s decade as well. Yeah, Kool-Aid is definitely a pop culture icon. It's an iconic drink, no doubt. Look at that, you got 2 Kool-Aid big guys, oh yeah, on display. No, what's kind of funny is this is the one from 1975, which I think looks better. He looks more modern to me than this one from 1990.
Yeah, they went backwards.
But maybe it's because the one from 1990 is a lot more breathable and easy to move around in versus the one from 1975. It'd be very hard to fit through a doorway, but that's why he busted through walls.
Imagine falling over too. How do you get up?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Sit in that chair.
Oh yeah! Here at the end of the exhibit, they've got a vote for your favorite flavor of Kool-Aid. You can vote for lemon lime, strawberry, tropical punch, lemonade, grape, cherry, or orange. My brother brought up a good point. We remember black cherry being like the best flavor, but they don't have black cherry on display. So I think what I'm gonna do is, I've got a fond memory of tropical punch. I'm gonna put $1 in for, get that in there, here we go, tropical punch. So you can see people are leaving tips for their favorite Kool-Aid flavors. Well, that has been the Kool-Aid exhibit. There's a few more things to check out here at this museum. There's like 3 stories of exhibits that pertain to the history of Nebraska. So we're gonna quickly tour the rest. This place is closing soon, but this is what I really wanted to come and see and share with you, is this amazing Kool-Aid exhibit in the town that it was birthed from, Hastings, Nebraska, the birthplace of Kool-Aid. Well, it's not just Kool-Aid that they've got on display here. This museum is huge. They've got tons of exhibits on the history of Nebraska. So we're going to explore as much as we can, beginning on the main floor, and they've got a lot of taxidermy, some fox on display, and some wolves, it looks like, as well. Look at that. All these wolf pups. Of course, the American bison, the buffalo. This is an iconic mammal here in Nebraska and also in the Great Plains of North America. There used to be thousands of these until they were overhunted nearly to extinction in the mid to late 1800s, but they're making a comeback. We're trying to bring the buffalo back, and they're just such an amazing creature. The American buffalo. Same thing. What? Look at that. That is an impressive taxidermied polar bear that they have. They're the most murderous bears on the planet. I think polar bears are like the deadliest bear. Look how vicious this bear looks. He's about to attack me. I think being eaten by a bear is going to be one of the worst deaths one can experience. Yeah, these things are massive. There's like an island in Alaska called Kodiak Island that has, it's like a modern day Jurassic Park. They've got like the largest bears on the planet. And I think these might be some of those bears. These are brown bears. But the ones that they have at Kodiak Island in Alaska they're just ginormous. It's literally like a modern day Jurassic Park, an island full of man-eating bears. We got some Nebraska brown bats on display. Look at that guy. I'm sure they make their way into people's attics and homes.
Silver-haired bat.
Oh yeah, that guy's got silver hair.
There's only one brown bat.
Oh, they're different types of bats. Oh.
The hooray bat.
The hooray bat. I love that name. Oh yeah. Got beavers on display as well. I mean, just tons of taxidermy. In the back of all this taxidermy is like a giant moon that you can walk inside. And I guess we're in space now.
Oh, it's from Akron, Colorado. We just drove through there yesterday.
Oh yeah. So what is that? That's a piece of a meteor?
I guess. One from Holbrook.
Holbrook, Arizona. We saw that when we did Route 66. That is where the largest, well,
Yeah, it's near.
it's near that. I guess the largest meteor crater that exists on the planet that we've discovered is in Arizona along Route 66. There's a giant hunk of meteorite. It says Bert Bussard was 7 years old when he found this in 1914 in Lushton, Nebraska. It's a big chunk of space rock right there. I like how it just kind of orbits around. Oh. Okay, I think I'm done. I don't want the Kool-Aid to come back up. Leaving the taxidermy room, there's a nature nook, is what they call it. It's like a nature walk. So this museum is all over the place, but got a lot to take in.
Box turtle.
Oh yeah, it's like Nebraska wetlands. There's the sandhill crane. It's got its iconic red colored head and a turtle down there. I'm not sure what part of Nebraska this is supposed to be. Maybe it's the sandhills.
Wetlands area.
So we got some wetlands, some prairie straight ahead. Oh look, it's a cave. Go explore this cave. There's a coyote sitting on top. Walking through this. Look at this. This is pretty cool. Oh, look, there's like marmots down here. Hiding in the cave. And just like that, we are on a farm. Got some combines on the wall, tractors, hay. So I think this is kind of more of an interactive part of the museum for kids, learning about conservation. Got some beanbag chairs they can lay and read books on. Walking upstairs, look at this giant fish. Just got his sharp teeth. What's that? Oh, is that him? Is that the fossilized version?
I think that's the real one.
Oh, wow. Boy, that thing looks devilish. Even more taxidermied animals upstairs. Here's a flock of turkeys. Could be found here in Nebraska, as well as pheasants. Very popular for hunting here in the Midwest United States. Lots and lots of rocks on display, and I think a lot of these minerals can be found in Nebraska. Checking out this bison skull right there. Oh, it's a cast of an actual bison skull. What the heck is this thing? A quaternary bison? This thing is huge. That is enormous. Those horns. Look at this. This is an actual woolly mammoth tusk that was found in Nebraska. In fact, it says that this tusk measures 14 feet along the curve. That is incredible. A number of different bones. And these aren't casts, these are the actual fossils of woolly mammoths found here in Nebraska. Oh wow, a mammoth jaw, look at that. Now you can see its teeth, like the grooves in its teeth.
It's front leg bones too.
So a lot of woolly mammoth discoveries in the state of Nebraska. Oh yeah, there's a saber-tooth tiger skull. Well, that's a cast, so this is a cast, not the actual thing. But everything else here with the mammoths are the actual, or the real fossils. Displays of snakes found in Nebraska. Here's a copperhead rattlesnake and an eastern rattlesnake. Of course, you got your classic garter snake. I used to catch those as a kid in Iowa. And look at all these snakes you can find in Nebraska. A hog-nosed snake. There's a bull snake and a black snake. Of course, and a milk. You know, I've never seen a milk snake in the wild. I've always wanted to see one. I like the pattern on a milk snake. I always thought it was really cool. All these insects on display that are found in Nebraska. And earlier, when we were hiking in eastern Colorado and parts of Nebraska, we saw a lot of these grasshoppers, in particular this giant lubber grasshopper. Saw a lot of those this morning. So Connor found this dung beetle this morning when we were hiking. I'm pretty sure that's
The same one.
I think that's a classic dung beetle. It looks a little bigger. Maybe he just ate a lot of dung today. Also upstairs, they've got displays on the Native Americans that lived here on the prairie. We got the classic teepee. It's where that iconic living quarters came from, was the Native American tribes that lived here on the prairies of North America. It's easy to set up and take down and travel along with the buffalo herd. And then over here, they've got a Pawnee Earth Lodge. There's not a lot of trees here in Nebraska, at least especially 150 years ago, so a lot of them used sod and earth to build the homes. Here's an example of a sod house that the pioneers would have built here in Nebraska. Look inside. See like a table, an old lamp, one of those old stoves over there. Kind of give you an example of how the pioneers survived here on the Nebraska prairies And exiting through the gift shop, they've got a Kool-Aid section here with the big guy. And look, they've got some Kool-Aid magnets. So definitely going to be taking one of these home with me. I collect magnets in my travels, so this is going to be coming along. And then, of course, they've also got keychains and Kool-Aid guy t-shirts that you can bring home with you. I think the t-shirts have a picture of the big guy smiling on them. So some Kool-Aid gear to look cool. Here behind the counter are some Kool-Aid serving plates as well that you can take home at the gift shop. Now, I've been to a few other museums throughout Nebraska, and I've seen this sculpture on display at other locations as well. And the story is, these two boys were brothers. Their names were Robert and Nathaniel Martin, and they were fleeing a Native American attack, the Lakota Sioux Indian tribe, a very powerful and warrior tribe here in the plains of America. Well, they were being attacked, and they jumped on horseback to flee the scene and were struck with an arrow that pinned the two boys together. Well, they survived the attack and miraculously lived into old age. Well, at least one of them did. The other one, I guess, died at age 47, according to the plaque. He had chronic back pain and spinal meningitis and died at the age of 47. So I guess he didn't fully escape the injury of the arrow. But the other brother lived to be 79 years old and shared this tale. So this is a well-documented historical event that actually occurred, and it's kind of been immortalized in this famous sculpture with two boys pinned with an arrow on horseback. Also in front of the museum is a statue of sandhill cranes, an iconic bird that is a symbol of Nebraska. These majestic birds migrate every year, thousands of them, and travel through central Nebraska along the Platte River. So you can see them, thousands of them, here in Nebraska every spring. April is a good time to see them, but it's cool to see that they've got a statue paying tribute to this iconic bird. Well, that is the Hastings Museum here in Hastings, Nebraska. A fascinating exhibit here on the history of Kool-Aid if you want to deep dive and learn more about this iconic American soft drink. And it's really, really, again, hard to believe that it got its origin right here in the middle of Nebraska. Not a lot of people know that. So just fascinating to learn that today, and also to just kind of take a walk down memory lane, seeing some of the older Kool-Aid advertisements that I remember growing up with and the different flavors that they have produced over the years. So just kind of a fun, quirky thing to do if you're heading east or west on Interstate 80 here in Nebraska. Hastings is just a couple minutes south of I-80, so totally worth a stop. And pick up some Kool-Aid while you're here too. Enjoy that cool, refreshing drink, especially here in the warmer months of the year. So again, so long, big guy. We're heading off. We have more to do here in Nebraska and a lot more driving to do today. So thanks for watching. My name is Eric, and this is the Get Me Out Here vlog. It's time for me to get out of here. Oh yeah! Got enough. Got enough with the big guy.